Welcome back to another episode of Big Bear Boxing Squad, episode number 30. The conversation I want to get into today is about Canelo Alvarez and the reason why I think that he has more pressure on him from the PBC to take the Jermall Charlo fight. Let's get into the conversation.
I don't know why. It'll go bigger than this. How about that?
Was you willing to really go to Mexico?
I'll go to Mexico and fight Canelo at his house.
How do you see the fight going tomorrow?
Running. Will we not fight Canelo at his house?
Mexico?
We will go to Mexico. We love Mexico. We from Texas, bro.
Well, shouldn't that fight happen in Cowboy
Stop
Stadium?
playing, bro. We want to go to Mexico. We love Mexico. We vacate to Mexico. We got a house in Mexico.
Where the Jamal, so you would go right up to 68 for the
Right now.
Where the line's at?
I'm more than 68 right now.
You feel like
Hey, Ronnie. Tell these motherfuckers we'll go to Mexico.
Absolutely, no doubt. What happens if the fight happens in Mexico, Ronnie?
It's gonna become Tex-Mex.
What do you think of Canelo as a boxer? Do you think he's one of the greatest?
Yeah, I think he stands out alone. You know, he learned so much from that Floyd Mayweather fight.
Yeah, and he hasn't lost since.
Yeah, he's gonna wind up retiring undefeated. I like to see him fight that Charlo guy. It's gonna be a good fight. I don't think that guy's strong enough, but I think that guy he's not afraid. He's smart, and he'll put up a good fight. To whatever happens.
Oh, Charlo's a good friend. I'd love to see Charlo fight Canelo. That would be an amazing.
That's gonna be an interesting fight, but it's gonna be a knockout. He's going the distance.
Oh, I like that.
Going the distance.
So this is my thoughts on the reason why I think Canelo Alvarez has a lot of pressure on him to take the PBC deal. It's worth $50 million. I think a one-fight deal, you know, you got more freedom. You got more flexibility to work your next deal. And I think that it's just time. It's just time to see Canelo Alvarez actually face a really, really good opponent. Not to say Caleb Plant wasn't a good opponent. I think he was a decent opponent, but we all knew how that was going to end. We knew, everybody knew. The media knew, the fans knew, YouTube media, no matter what media it was, everybody knew that he was probably going to most likely get a knockout. If you was betting in Vegas, he was going to knock Caleb Plant out. Canelo is just too good. He's too bright of a star. He's the biggest star in boxing. And I think everybody respect that. I don't think it's about, I know some people, you know, they talk race and stuff like that, but it's not that, man. I used to be a really big Oscar De La Hoya fan when I was coming up. So this ain't nothing new to me. I like who I like, you know, and I'm a big Canelo fan. I'm also a Jermall Charlo fan. I like his younger brother too. But I just think it's time. It's time to start seeing some of these big fights take place. I think Jermall Charlo has earned a position to fight Canelo. And also, I think it's going to overall just help Alvarez out in his legacy, in his strive for greatness. He only has one loss on his record to the best fighter who ever lived in Floyd Mayweather. So that's nothing to take a big knock, what you heard Mike Tyson in my earlier clip. You know, that's a good loss. That's not a bad loss. A lot of fighters think if you take one loss, you ain't no good, or you're gonna lose a lot of money. Man, Canelo Alvarez getting paid more than everybody, and a lot of these fighters are undefeated. Terrence Crawford is undefeated. Spence is undefeated. Gervonta Tank Davis is undefeated. Look, I mean, he's getting paid more than those guys with a loss on his record. So, like I say, man, this is gonna make for an excellent fight. I think that he needs to, you know, take the deal. I think a lot of fans are gonna praise the deal, whether he lose, win, draw, whatever. And I think it's just gonna be a good night for boxing. Boxing is so much more than what people try to make it as, you know, whether it's race or something like that. It's more than that. You know, it's gonna be racism everywhere. If you start putting that into sports, a lot of times, man, the way I look at sports, like when the Olympics come up, how the whole world gonna get to work together when the Olympics come up, but then when other sports or other current events happen, that they act like they forgot what happened. You know, like, oh well, you know, I'm back to the same old me. The sport of boxing should be celebrated as a sport, a sport of different backgrounds, and just, you know, overall, it's one of the best sports I've ever been a part of or witnessed. Whether it was watching my dad do combat sports when I was growing up, going to some of his boxing matches, and you know, that's how I became a boxing fan. So I just enjoy the overall sport, not just a specific fighter. Styles make fights. I do have fighters I like more than other fighters. It's just the way it is in boxing. But Canelo Alvarez, he has earned every single thing that he has received. There's a lot of hard work goes into that. But, you know, I think to remain the best, you have to beat the best and continue to show fans why you are the best. Give fans a reason to keep buying your pay-per-view, your merch, whatever you're doing, just keep him entertained with going hard. And Canelo, like I say, he fight a couple. I think it was like a couple years ago or last year or something, like he had 4 fights. So that's a praise for that I give Canelo, is just staying active, never really making excuses and stuff like that. And I think he's starting to feel a lot of pressure from the fans, especially his last 5 fights. I think a fight like this with Jermall Charlo and also Benavidez and Arthur Beterbiev, I think those 3 fights right there will clean those 5 fights up. Sometimes, whether you want to patch your record or something like that to try to, be 50, 60 and 1 or whatever, whatever. It's a lot of different things that people try to do. But I don't think Canelo trying to pat his record or anything like that. I think he's actually striving for greatness and trying to get the most belts ever in the history of the sport, and try to become multi-divisional champion. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the business of boxing is a strange thing, man. You got to understand it. And I think Canelo Alvarez, he has it down. I think he has it down packed since he has gotten away from Oscar De La Hoya. And I think that was a wonderful move. It's a move that a lot of younger boxers or other boxers that's got turmoil in their camps or with their promotional companies, they can take a big hint from him and also Floyd Mayweather. And I'm pretty sure, like I say, ever since the Floyd Mayweather fight, man, he's like the Mexican version of Floyd Mayweather with more power. A bigger version of Mayweather, and I think he's just as a big of a star as Mayweather in some regards. Maybe not in all regards to some people and some fans and stuff like that, but he is a huge star. But I think this is the right decision for him to make. He has to make the decision, and if he make anything less than this decision, I think a lot of fans is going to turn their backs and be like, I'm not buying his next fight until he fights somebody that's worthy. And I think that Jermall Charlo, he's been taking a kind of a big hit, not staying active. But I think, look at the position that he's in now. So he played his cards the way he should have. I don't know if he ever turned down a past Canelo fight, but you can't always go back in the past. Maybe he wasn't ready mentally. He wasn't ready. It takes a lot to get into a ring with a killer like Canelo. And Jermall Charlo, he's a killer himself. I think this fight gonna be a lot different than people think. I think that they, you always root for the superstar mostly, and Canelo is an automatic win. No, it's not. I think this gonna be a good fight, a good close fight. I think it's gonna be a lot rougher than people think it's gonna be. I think both guys gonna be beat up. I don't really see a knockout. I think, like I said before in another video that I did, I think Jermall Charlo, he has a great chin. And I think he's been hit hard, and I give Canelo credit. He punch hard. I mean, come on now. I mean, you get in there with him. Not only will he hit you and hurt you, but he's also super skilled. So that's dangerous in itself. I think, and Jermall Charlo, I think he don't get enough credit for his defense either. Go back and watch some of his fights. I guarantee you'll think this fight will be a whole lot different. But you guys let me know what you think down in the comments below about who you think gonna win and what you think about just the overall fight and the enjoyment of the fight.
That's going to conclude another episode of Big Bear Boxing Squad, episode number 30. Let me know what you think down in the comments below about this topic and all the other topics that I bring up each video. If you want to see what I'm wearing, shoptachi.com. All social media platforms that I'm on will be down in the descriptions below. Please check me out on Twitch. I got more boxing content over there, and I do have a Big Bear Boxing Squad IG page. A lot of dope content over there, so please go check it out. Just want to thank you guys like I do each and every video. Without you guys, I wouldn't have no channel, wouldn't have no subscribers. So it's all about you guys, and that's the reason why I do this channel, is to bring the best boxing content that I can possibly bring you from my point of view and share it with you guys to get the conversation even bigger. One thing is, new subscribers, old subscribers, man, try to watch my videos through the duration. What that does, it helps the algorithm of YouTube, and it doesn't cost anything, doesn't take nothing but about a split second. That helps out the algorithm and helps the channel grow, and also makes the conversation even bigger. Anytime we can make the conversation of boxing even bigger, boxing is so much of a better sport when people is actually talking about it. But I just want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Big Bear Boxing Squad.